What is up, you little oddballs? It is your curator, Zach, here, coming to tell you that your curator, Kara, and I are taking our annual break for the holiday season. So our January episodes, we are going to do some throwbacks. We're going to play you our favorite guest episodes from the last couple of years. So hopefully you enjoy. We'll have new episodes coming out soon. And as always, creep it real, my little oddballs. Goodbye. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Oddity Shop, the place where the bizarre is always on sale, and we're here to tell you creepy, odd, and weird and bizarre stories from around the world. As always, I'm sitting here with the lovely curator, Kara. Kara, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. Actually,
good.
Pretty excited.
I was going to say, we're going to keep this intro a little bit short because today we actually have a very special guest with us. Someone who has spent years uncovering the haunted history behind some of the most infamous locations in America. He's a journalist, an author, a paranormal researcher, and a lecturer whose work has been featured on the Travel Channel, Discovery Plus. You've written over, I think, 18 books, including The Ghost of Salem. I actually have a book right here of yours.
Ooh, I've got one on my shelf, too.
Welcome in, Sam Baltrusis, right? I said that right?
Yeah, you said it right.
Okay.
Hey, Sam, so we're so excited to have you in the shop today, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Yeah, before I came on, I heard you guys heard a spectral scream. So, and so I'm doing okay, but I'm kind of like, I wonder if what my distant cousin Lizzie Borden is visiting us.
Okay, this is really funny. So literally,
let's just jump right on in.
Oh yeah, we're going right into it. So me and Kara are in the recording studio where we're waiting for Sam to join, and literally about 10 seconds before he joined, I looked at Kara. I'm like, is that kid's screaming in your neighborhood or mine? Well, I went to pull off my headphone, couldn't hear anything. Kara wasn't hearing it, and then Sam jumped in. And he's like, we're literally trying to figure out where the screaming's coming from. And you said this is something that's happened before?
Yeah, so when I was filming Curse of Lizzie Borden with Dave Schrader and Chris Fleming, so the producers asked me the question that everyone wants to know, Lizzie, did you kill your father and stepmother? And so I'm doing an EVP. I'm like, Lizzie, did you kill your father and stepmother? And I heard a really anguished screaming, stop asking me that question. Stop asking me that question.
Right.
And I promised, I told her after that, I'm like, you know what? I'm never going to ask that question again. And I feel like when I hear that scream, it's more like, oh my gosh, are you going to talk about me again? Talk about the murders again? So I do feel, that it does kind of follow me. And I want the screaming to stop, if you will.
Well, I don't blame you. It was a little jarring on our end, although nothing too out of the norm, I think, for me and Kara at this point. But
yeah, but that's wild. I mean, I guess that's how she gets your attention. I don't She needs to figure out a different way.
Exactly. Well, thank you for joining us, Lizzie. We won't ask you about the murders. We promise.
Promise.
She's very happy right now. She's got her New England kind of scornful look.
Yeah, she does kind of have that look.
For those who can't see, he's holding up a picture of her. So, we're so glad you're here, though, bringing your spectral screaming and relatives and all. But, for those who might not know, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So my name's Sam Baltrusis. You got the name right, which is great. So I've written 18 paranormal-themed books. I've also done a lot of television. People know me for Curse of Lizzie Borden, but I've done a lot of other programs like A Haunting. And I was also a producer on season 11 of A Haunting, Most Terrifying Places, Fright Club, Paranormal Night Shift, list goes on and on. But I think for me, the stuff that I'm most passionate about is definitely my writing and my books. And the book that I'm known for the most probably is Ghost of Salem. And I'm actually currently working on book number 19, which is Haunted Castles of New England. And that's been so much fun working on that.
That's a lot of books.
It's fun. I love it. I love it.
This might be just a totally ignorant question, but do we actually have like full castles? Or what are the castles of?
That's actually a really pertinent question because American castles versus the castles you find in Europe are definitely, there's no comparison. And there's a lot of comparing, contrasting. A lot of and people have said this to me in my interviews, that the castles in America are kind of like movie sets. They're almost like, they're kind of like copycats of what's found overseas. But I will say there's a lot in New England, especially, that are haunted. And so one's Hammond Castle in Gloucester, and I spent past Halloween there, and it was so much fun. And yes, it was built in the late 1800s, and it doesn't have the history that a lot of the castles, like the Lancaster Castle over, in England, or Chillingham Castle, all the ones that we know. But I find it really fun to look at it, and also look at the idea, why would a castle be haunted versus another location like a haunted mansion? And a lot of it has to do with what it's made out of. It's made out of granite, limestone, and that does retain the paranormal activity.
Isn't that the stone tape theory?
It is, yeah. So it's the stone tape theory, and that's kind of like the big question. Like, does the materials used to build these castles, and I'm using air quotes,
yeah,
but castles are, and this is a really good look into the stone tape theory, that energy is sort of absorbed into the stones or into the walls. In this case, it's usually rocks that are used to build the castles, the American castles.
That's so cool.
I haven't actually heard of stone tape theory.
Oh, you haven't?
Yeah. Do you guys want to give me like the 30-second rundown?
I mean, that's kind of it. It's just the theory that like certain materials hold that energy. Okay. And is it, correct me if I'm wrong, is it a loop that they think it's playing?
It's almost like a residual haunting. Okay. So like the spectral scream that you heard, like that could be considered a residual haunting. So something triggers it, and it's absorbed into like a rock or into the foundation or into the land, and something triggers it. And usually I'm a notorious trigger for that stuff. So it'll set it off. Something will set off the haunting.
That's cool.
I have
goosebumps. So I feel like you're always so busy. If anybody doesn't follow you on social media, or if they do, you're always all over the place doing so many different things. And now you're writing your 19th book. And I read somewhere that you used to, or do you still do newspaper editing? Because I don't know how you have time if you do.
Yeah, well, no, I used to. So for 20 years, I was a journalist, and so that was my precursor to what I currently do now, as writing books. So I was editor of 2 local magazines at the time, and I wrote an article for Stuff magazine, which is a magazine in the Boston area that's no longer, and that turned into my first book, Ghost of Boston.
Oh, okay.
So I would always write the paranormal themed articles, and this is back in, I think, 2011, 2012, that I wrote that first article that turned into a 3-book deal. And so it kind of transitioned from a print journalist to an editor to full-time paranormal. I also work the overnight shift at hotels, and that's sort of my primary job. And I try my best to work at haunted hotels because it really does.
I was just gonna ask.
I kind of double dip, I like doing the research and then working the overnight shift, which is slower usually, and I can have time to think about my books, sometimes write it, but don't quote me on that, because like my boss would be like, "You're writing books while you're working," but I do kind of do both, and it works out well. Yes, I'm super busy, but I love it. I love every minute of it.
That's awesome.
When you were starting as the journalist, was the paranormal always there? Did you fall into it? How did you kind of make that switch into the paranormal?
That's a really good question, because like for me, I was terrified for most of my career as a journalist. I identify as a clairvoyant, and the clairvoyant, that's sort of like an umbrella term, but it's someone that's highly intuitive and sensitive, and I've always had those gifts. And clairvoyant specifically sees. So I'll get mind pictures. Sometimes I'll visually see things like playing charades, and the spirit will try to tell me what they're trying to convey. So this is something that I used as a journalist, and I kind of kept it in the closet, if you will. And I, when I started writing paranormal themed books, I didn't want to lose my credibility as a journalist, because that was my full-time gig. I mean, I was working steadily writing articles. And then my secret kind of came out. Hey, I'm actually using my abilities to, focus on. I did a lot of investigative stories, and that actually worked well as a clairvoyant because I was able to kind of like look at the case with a paranormal lens. So yeah, it was it transitioned pretty quickly. Like I started off. I was still writing books, and I was an editor of two magazines. Then I ended up like what's happened in the print industry. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of work. So the writing the books has kind of become my primary gig.
Hey, Zach, are you running low on spiritual supplies?
Hey, Kara, are you looking for a place with handmade items?
Yeah, we should probably go to Mystic Moons.
Oh, our buddies?
Yeah.
They make the most wonderful hand-dipped incense with over 24 scents, and we've smelled absolutely every single one of them.
Yeah, or maybe you might just be looking for a hand-strung bracelet made with only the best intentions.
And not only do they have the best intentions, they have 4 strings each, and they last forever, which I would know because I've broken every bracelet you've made for me and not theirs.
Oops. Well, they also have simmer pots for every occasion, like San to Yule.
And don't forget, Melinda is also a medium and a tarot card reader who's given us amazing readings, so she's ready to help us or you connect with past loved ones and get to know insights into your world.
My spirit animal is a camel. Thanks, Melinda. Anyway, so look for Mystic Moons on Facebook or Etsy, and then you can restock all your spiritual supplies.
Oh, be sure to check them out at www.etsy.com/shop/Mystic Moons LLC.
Or at Mystic Moons on Facebook. They're all over our socials, so I'm sure you'll find them.
So go get some goodies. Okay, Kara, goodbye.
Bye. When did you kind of tap into your abilities? Have you always had them, or like when did you figure that out?
Well, so I started off as a kid. I grew up in Florida. My dad was in the Navy, and my granddaddy would visit me when I was around like 7 to 8 years old, and I would have conversations with him. And my mother, who's Southern, she's like, and I'm like, I'm talking to granddaddy, and my grandfather had passed when I was a few years before that. And it turns out the room that I was staying at my granddaddy's house was actually his room. And I didn't know that as a kid. And
oh, wow.
And then it got progressively darker for me as a kid. Like there was a man wearing a hat with red glowing eyes that kind of peeked in my window one night. And my sister was with me while we saw it. And that's something I just shut down.
Wow.
I went most of my young adult life still having experiences, but just terrified. And a big part of like who I am as an investigator is someone that was, just kind of like Scooby-Doo. They would bring me into a haunted location, and I would be like, ah, and like screaming and get me out of here. And what happened is I found out that energy was like kind of fueling the spirits. And I actually wrote a book called Fueled by Fear, where I talk about that. Like that energy would make the darker entities respond, almost gave them more energy. And I was food for the entities. I mean, I was giving them so much.
Yeah. Sam, you and I are going to keep going, but Zach just texted me that he lost audio, so he's probably going to drop. So
Oh, not a problem.
No, that's so funny though, that you started out like the Scooby-Doo, like so scared, like that's so funny. And now here you are just bopping all around all these haunted locations, and it's like your passion. I was going to ask you, now that we're kind of like on this subject of it, like the more paranormal part, I read, or I think I actually watched an interview, and I don't remember who it was, but you had an attachment at one point.
Yeah, that was the episode of A Haunting. So the fact that Zach lost his audio is not surprising to me, because
he's a slider, if you know what that is, where he just like messes up all technology all the time. So this is a normal thing for us. We had Exie on, if you know who she is. And she's a psychic medium. And between them two, they broke all of our equipment. We are so used to this. That's why we're like, we'll just keep going.
I don't know what it is. It's when we've had people with like this some sort of like clairvoyant or psychic medium abilities.
It really triggers you.
It triggers my electronics, and I just don't know what happened. So if I drop off, you guys can keep going and I'll just pop in and out.
So what we were kind of talking about, Zach, is that I had watched an interview that Sam has actually had an attachment. So I was just asking about that.
Oh, yeah.
And this is significant because so like when you blocked out, so the man with the hat with the red glowing eyes, every time I talk about him, something happens. Like my computer freezes. Shit. I wasn't when you kind of dropped off, Zach. Like that was right when I was talking about the entity that feeds off the energy and usually messes up my computers.
Oh wow! Well, there you go.
Well, you're in good company. I know how that goes.
Do you think that that's your attachment?
So yeah, so the attachment has kind of been a long, like kind of like what is it kind of thing.
Yeah.
For the whole backstory, 2016, and this is what like getting back to like I was so terrified. So I would do tours. I would do like I was have written books at this point, so I was considered an expert on Salem, and I loved Salem. And I would give tours during Halloween season, and you know, and just was passionate about it. But what was happening is things were happening on my tours, and there was one location that I feel like that I picked up an attachment. And this is Richard Crowninshield. Richard Crowninshield murdered Captain Joseph White in the 1800s, 1830. And I would talk about Richard Crowninshield, and I did pretty much the night before Halloween in 2016. I did kind of like it wasn't even a lecture. It was more like a performance where I was kind of dressed up as Richard Crowninshield and kind of played this role of him. And what was happening is I was starting to channel him. And I didn't know I had that ability at that point. So I started.
What a time to find out.
Yeah, exactly. So I basically, I channeled Richard Crowninshield, and I remember like doing the performance and going like, oh my God, like, and I was getting like mind pictures of the murder, and he was telling me that he didn't act alone, and he was innocent, and like all this stuff that I was getting. And I remember looking in the mirror and like going, like my face was distorted after giving that performance. And my partner at the time was like, you look fine, you're great. And so yeah, it just was an 8-day ordeal of having this entity that murdered somebody and like kind of like taken over. And I was going in and out of consciousness. This became the 100th episode of A Haunting. And what happened is my friend Joni Mahan noticed something was wrong. And, you know, there should have been a telltale sign. I was doing all sorts of things like posting online, like, you know, like I would like anyone have a human skeleton or like a skeleton? And they're like, oh, I have a fake one. And I'm like, no, I want the real one, you know? And so stuff like that. And my friend Joni noticed something was wrong. And she's like, Sam, I think you have an attachment. I'm like, what's that, Jody? You know, and that reenactment in the show was hilarious because it was all done on social. We did it online, and like, but they reenacted it where she came to my house and was like, Sam, are you okay? And anyway, long story short, she got a shaman who did a removal, and the removal did open me up. So at that point, I saw the entity leave my stomach, which was weird. And I came out, and then looking back at it, it was super emotional because it was sort of like seeing like there was a lot of spirits like lined up to basically take this entity and bind him. And and I saw this as a clairvoyant, and it was very powerful, life changing, and makes me grateful. Makes me like the idea of going into a location. Doesn't matter if it's a performance or not, like to go in and protect yourself, because I wasn't really protecting myself. And now I'm a hardcore believer in protection. And especially now that I know I can channel, I have to push it out. And like, that's the number one rule. If you're a trance channeler, is you have to be able to, if you take it in, you have to push it out.
That's crazy.
That's so important on the protection because like, first of all, I couldn't imagine seeing as a clairvoyant, like what's actually going on with the shaman, because you're seeing more than most would in that situation.
I can't even comprehend that.
It was so fascinating.
That's wild.
It was fascinating, but it was also like emotional because my grandmother, and I'm going to start crying. My grandmother was there. And my grandmother, who super Catholic, she was like with her rosary. She would like turn into this like this fierce warrior spirit guide, you know, and she was like tackling this guy. It was beautiful. Like
that's so cool.
Yeah, and I love it, and I love that my Nana, I call her, Nana was there to protect me.
That's so sweet.
That's amazing.
Aww, you're gonna make me cry. Oh, Grandma.
So what does that look like for you now before you're going into locations? Like, do you want to share what your protection looks like, or if it's something personal?
I mean, it's a whole process, but yeah. So I do what's called the Crystal Shield of Protection, and apparently, when I did it on Curse of Lizzie Borden, it was the vagina symbol in American Sign Language.
Yeah.
So I tweaked it a little bit. I don't do the vagina symbol, but so I do a crystal shield. It's like a Reiki based shield that I do, and I do crystal as opposed to white light because crystal allows the good spirits in and keeps the bad ones out.
Oh,
okay.
So I do that. I have protection stones. I use Palo Santo a lot. I use black salt. And all sorts of things to make sure that I go in. I'm also big about closing. So when you leave a location, even if you don't think you picked anything up, you could have. And I use my dominant hand and I do like a chopping behind my neck to make sure nothing's kind of like trying to hold on to me or attached to me.
Oh, that's interesting. I like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, cut the cord.
Yeah. Wow.
A lesson we learned early on as baby podcasters and, kind of playing around with some demonology things we didn't know we were. And we got very quick on the protection stones after things started moving around our spaces or being thrown at us. So yeah, it's definitely important. But I like that physical cutting of it, like wiping behind your neck before you go.
Yeah, that's cool. I guess aside from like doing that and like cutting the cord and things like that, are you able to like turn off your sensitivity to spirits? Like, is it kind of like a switch on off or not really?
That's a good question. Cause like for when I first started, like kind of doing locations, I didn't know how to turn it on and off. So I was kind of being tormented by the spirits and I was actually getting hijacked. So I would walk in, I was at the orphanage in Gettysburg and walk in and this whimpering child like basically took me over and I was like, and I was like, and so I was getting hijacked. Now I try my best to set boundaries and I'm like, I do imagine like kind of an old fashioned lamp where I turn it on, turn it off. I've done like open, close. All this is, of course, visualizing in your third eye that you're turning on and off. I also give them. So I wear like a suit normally, and the suit to me lets them know that I'm ready for business. And then the outfit that I wear, I also use it's more like the way that I'm dressed. That to let them know that, hey, I'm ready to communicate with you. Yeah. I've done like lemongrass and like certain things I put on my hands to kind of let them know that I'm ready to communicate. So it is, I've gotten better at it. Have I perfected it? No, but I try.
I imagine so much of that has to be trial and error, though. It's not like there's like a guidebook for... And
it's always like ever evolving, too. So it's like, even like when people say that they're an expert, it's like, can you even be an expert in paranormal? Because nobody knows half of what's actually going on, which is the part that we love. But yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I kind of learned the hard way. And I think getting an attachment that nearly kills you is probably the hardest way possible. But from that, I did learn a lot about protection. And that wasn't part of my arsenal back then. And now I have a group of up and coming mediums that I work with called Spirit Squad. And we,
cute.
And so so I'm their mentor and it's a group of about 60 altogether that kind of go in and out of classes.
Oh, wow.
And so the Spirit Squad is really like, I learn with them. So that's like the number one question. How do you turn this off? Like once we turn it on, how do you turn it off? And we're still learning, but we're getting there.
That's so cool, though, because you've obviously had to learn some of those lessons the hard way, but then to be able to teach up to 60 other mediums how to do it, like that is such a impactful way, and you're saving them from God only knows what, Yeah, it's amazing. And I having gone through what I went through, I remember thinking, I really need a mentor. Like, I really need someone to help me with this. And the closest person that I had worked with, her name's Joni Mahan. And she's the one that saved me when I had the attachment. She's a fellow author as well. So she did act as my mentor. But it was literally trial by error. And I made so many mistakes. And now I can help my students kind of walk through stuff that I've already been through. And we just did shadow work, which is kind of known for witches to do shadow work. But we did it. We kind of combined multiple faiths and like shamanism and
and we looked at just sort of like doing it and embracing your inner child. And it was super beautiful. And I loved working with Spirit Squad, and I love going to locations. We're going to the S.K. Pierce Victorian Mansion together and going with a different approach to investigating. It's not all about the bells and whistles that we all know from all the different ghost hunting devices. We use our senses, and we use dowsing rods, and I do a seance, which is sort of a tweaked version of a seance.
I love that.
The seance. That's amazing. Cute. Do you take on more? I know you have 60 right now, which is a lot. But if people are interested, if there's, in case anybody is out there, they're a budding young medium, are you taking on more students for the Spirit Squad?
So the way that Spirit Squad works, it's sort of like taking on people that I connect with. So I travel all over the country. Like I connected with you guys in Michigan. And like something kind of just like pulls me to them, and I'm like, hey, I have this group called Spirit Squad, and so it's been kind of by attraction. So I don't really promote it, but I do take on new students. I have a whole segment coming up in July where it's a monthly Zoom meeting that we're meeting, and that's starting July 28th is the first day, and it's going to be a monthly session of Spirit Squad. Normally we do 5 classes in a row, and it's really intensive. So I just want to kind of tone it down a little bit and just do a monthly. So yes, we're taking on new students. And if you want to sign up, I would love to have both of you, really.
Oh, that would be fun.
That would be fun.
Zach and I are very vibe people.
Yes.
So we understand where you're coming from on that. We have to, just because we just talked about it. So we met you at Michigan Paracon in 23.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so. Yeah.
23. It was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
how? I don't know how it's already been 2 years, but whew.
I know, isn't that crazy? But that was the funniest. I don't know if you remember like Zach and I do, because it was just so funny the way that we met you. Zach,
We'll keep it PG for the podcast, but there was a crystal that had gone missing that,
I think that
we all had a good laugh about.
Actually told this story when we did our recap of Michigan Paracon that year.
You?
I think
we might have already outed you on that one.
Because it was so funny.
The best part is good. My mom was getting her palm read 2 tables down from us. And at one point, the reader looked up because we're all dying laughing.
And we were with your dad.
And goes, do you need me to tell those people down there to quiet down? She goes, no, that's my family. They're just being weirdos.
She's like, no, they're fine. Oh my goodness. No, that was so much fun. And then Zach was like, yeah, I didn't even realize, was it that same day or the day before you were like outside, like smoking with him? And you're like, yeah, I just talked to this really cool guy out there. We didn't even know who you were. Was that the same day? I think that was the same day.
Yeah, I think it was the day before you presented because you were wearing your suit. And we had like a quick conversation. Then you come out on stage. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's who I was just chatting with outside. But that's the cool thing about Paracon is there's so many people.
Yeah, so I remember your shirt, Zach. So I'm like, oh, I like this shirt. And so like little things like that attract me. Like I'm like, oh, I like Zach's shirt. And so we started talking, and then you're like, I'm like, I like your shirt. And you're like, okay.
That was early days of podcasting too, where I was so introverted still, and like I don't know how to handle a conversation. So thankfully, with podcasting, I've become a little bit more extroverted. I can hold the conversation now.
Well, and to be fair, Zach, you had so many people that day coming up to you and telling you that they liked your shirt. And like, we're just not that used to that many people. Like it's a lot of people that are at these conventions, and it is like overwhelming at a certain point. Like you love it. Like you're meeting people, you're having great conversations. It's fun, but you're kind of like drained at a certain point. I can only imagine how you are, because Zach and I are like, at the end of the day, we are like, my battery is dead. So I'm just trying to give you some credit, Zach.
You're good. But that's a great point. First of all, this is why Kara dresses me, because I have no she bought me this shirt too. But with that though, at like those Paracons and gatherings and stuff, Sam, is that like, how does it feel for you having the abilities that you have at the end.
It's like an attachment swap, like it literally, really, you go in and like you said, like that's why I keep going outside. People are like, why are you always outside? Because I have to ground, because it's so much energy around you. And that's a big part of Spirit Squad, is how do you deal with those types of situations? So when I saw you, I'm like, he's dealing with the energy, like what it's pretty common with people that are sensitive.
Yeah.
That you can't deal with the energy and you're trying to process it and you're kind of like trying to protect your energy. And that's why like the others, like people like me and like you guys, like hang outside just to get away from all that energy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so funny that you say that, because we go outside almost like every lecture we would be done with, we'd go outside. In between like halls, we'd go outside. And I usually like sit on the ground. Like I'll just be like, let me just touch the grass. Let me touch the ground. Let me just be here for a little bit and then we can head back in.
Yeah, you definitely feel it at those kind of conventions.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah, and it's pretty much grounding. Whatever you have to do to ground, like I recommend it. And like sitting on the grass, that's perfect. Like that, like stuff like that. I've taken off my shoes. Like just you gotta just go out there and get kind of bring it back, and then kind of go back in and talk to the crowds. But I'll tell you, like the conversations I had outside were like amazing. I loved it.
Oh, because well, and it's so cool because kind of like we were just talking about before, like when you're like, you kind of wanted to keep this part of you like kind of a little bit quiet, like you didn't want to talk about it. But now look at it, it's like crazy. It's like so many people love this stuff and they come to like see you talk, and they want to be with other people that are like weirdos, our little oddballs. Like we all kind of love it now. So it's just so much more welcoming to be weird nowadays, which has to be so great.
Yeah, and I love the convention, so I kind of like a love-hate thing. I love them because of that, because I do feel so welcomed and I feel like that I'm with my people. But then also you go in and it's just like all the energy is just like, and you want to run out.
So that year you talked about...
Oh, I knew you were going to ask about this.
Pukwudgie, your experience with Pukwudgie.
Yeah, so the lecture...
Tell us?
Yeah, the lecture was Monsters of the Paranormal.
Yes.
And at the time, I did a lecture with a demonologist. And so we discussed it with my idea of monsters were, paranormal monsters. So thought form manifestations are things that we create is one of the monsters that I talked about. Pukwudgies, which is a pretty common little critter in New England that's elemental in nature that we've encountered. And even just, like in Curse of Lizzie Borden, we were out in the woods, which was the Bridgewater Triangle. And we had all sorts of like elemental energies surrounding us while we were filming that. Like I have a lot of experience with elementals, especially. And Pukwudgies, like what are they? They're Native American cryptids, elementals. They seem like that they're cute, but they're not. Like they can literally lure you to your death,
So I did an episode about them because I think they are cute, but they're like little shits. And it's so funny because it's like little cute things. Like you just said, luring you to your death. And I don't know why I just get a kick out of that. It's not good. But like, so what was your experience with, did you see it? Or feel it, or how do you like?
So let's put it this way: I have students and friends who have experienced them. I haven't personally seen a Pukwudgie. So even in the lecture, we had a photo of one of my students, her name's Sue, that captured a Pukwudgie outside of the Oliver House, which is a location that I investigated a lot, and that's also on the edge of the Bridgewater Triangle in Massachusetts. And unfortunately, like that location recently closed and now is turned into like an office space. But that land has a lot of Pukwudgie sightings, and I think we kind of see what we can handle. So I think like some people may see Pukwudgies and I may see like, something else, as a clairvoyant. So I do. And I think that they shape shift so they can kind of appear to certain people and then disappear. But I would say I have experienced the energy of a Pukwudgie.
Okay.
And so I do believe they exist. I just think that like if I saw one, I probably would flip out. I really would. I'd be like, oh my God.
I don't know who wouldn't.
And other people have seen them, like, they're like, oh, I saw a puckwudgie. And I'm like, really? Like, I would literally have a nervous breakdown if I saw a puckwudgie. So I think that they know that, and they kind of like, we picked up EVPs of what sounds like a puckwudgie, like it's kind of like a animalistic primal noise that they make. And so I know that I've experienced them, but I just have not seen them.
That's so funny.
Still, that you probably just made Kara's entire day with that one, because she is in love with that.
I just think that's like so funny. Like these little cute little shits. I don't know.
Yeah, they are.
Little terrors.
That like shoot dart. Well, some of them shoot darts.
Yes, those little darts. I don't know. I get a kick out of this. I really do. Like but seriously, if I saw one, I'd be like you. I'd be like screaming and probably running. But the story of them is cool to me.
And really what they're doing is they're protecting the land. And so
right.
they've almost kind of been given a bum rap. Like they first started, they were like helpers, and they helped the Native American spirits and protected the land. And what happened is they were demonized by settlers like coming into Massachusetts and the other parts of New England. And so now they're like the devil's imps, they've been called. And truthfully, I think that they're a little bit of both. They kind of can go both ways. I just don't mess with the puckwudgie.
I kind of take it back. I would probably be scared if I saw one, but I would really want it to just be my friend.
I have a friend who wanted a puckwudgie as a pet, and
I don't know if a pet.
Oh God!
Yeah, and so she literally
that.
like she would have it, and I'm like, "What is with you?" And she's like, "Oh, it's my puckwudgie," and I'm like, and she like it's my friend, and she gave it a name and everything.
But actually, I wouldn't put it past me though either. That's why Zach's laughing, because he's like, she probably would want a puckwudgie.
Couple Miller Lights, yeah, you would take a puckwudgie home as a pet.
I would.
So, paranormal monsters that you have experienced, is there one that kind of stands out to you as like could be good, could be bad, or like just a changing experience for you?
Yeah, in the lecture, so I did talk about thought form manifestations in Salem. So the man with the hat is considered almost like a monster, but I personally think that my experience with the man with the hat with red glowing eyes is a family member, and so and is more of a harbinger, and that relationship with him has kind of changed over the years. But when I first saw him, it was terrifying. And then,
interesting.
Yeah. So that one is a big one for me, is the man with the hat. And it's, you can't say Hat Man because Hat Man is trademarked, but.
You said that your sister was there when you saw it. Did she also see it?
Yeah. Am I freezing?
Yeah, but I can still hear you.
We can.
Oh, do do do,
sliding
do,
again.
Do, do.
You're coming back.
You're like half back.
All right, this is so. I told you guys that
it's okay. We get it.
It was right when we talked about the man with the hat again.
Wait, you're right. Oh crap! Let's stop talking about it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it really does do that. Is it okay? It's not coming. Hold on. I may have to get rid of my microphone.
And the other thing too, if you need to pop out of the recording and back in, everything should, as long as you don't shut off your computer.
Okay, I'm gonna try doing that, guys, and we'll talk more about the man with the hat.
Okay.
Perfect.
I don't know if we should. Oh my God, that's wild.
That is.
You guys, listeners, that was instantaneous both times that we just talked about that. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, and typically, okay, you know what? My camera recording, it almost seems to, every time we have a guest, do something wonky. But being that that's the first time we've had it happen to somebody else when we're talking about the same subject that interacts with his.
Well, and he said it was going to happen because it does happen, and it happened again. So we shouldn't have brought it up again, Dane.
Oh gosh. Okay, looks like Sam's coming back in.
You're back.
I'm back. Yeah, so you're probably right. Like every time I talk about that entity, it does shut everything down. So I'm not surprised.
All right. Well, I just wanted to know if your sister also saw that.
She did. Yeah, we talked about it later in life. Yeah, okay. So she did, and we're not gonna. Yeah, we won't say the name.
We could just see that. We can move on from this subject.
He obviously does not want us talking about him.
Okay, it is my favorite thing that you are snorting, because I snort when I laugh, and I try so hard not to do it too much on the podcast because, like,
I know me too. Yeah.
No, you can because you're a guest, but Zach has to edit all of my sniffles and my annoying stuff.
It's not the snorting while laughing. It is the sniffling in every break of her sentence that I get to edit out. But I love her anyway.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Wow.
Okay, so enough about the monsters. Let's make sure the technology still works, though.
Oh, goodness.
But, like, obviously you get to investigate a lot of places and you've written about a lot of them. Is there one that's on your bucket list that you haven't gotten to yet or, might be in the works?
Yeah, so I always say Queen Mary in California because I have visited it, but I haven't gone in as a paranormal investigator. I'm actually going to San Francisco, so I'm going to the coming up season. So I'm going to go on the West Coast. The goal is to go to Alcatraz and also go to the Queen Mary if I can.
That would be awesome.
We want to go to the Queen Mary. Oh,
yeah. So I can't wait to go. And the event is going to be on the USS Hornet.
Oh,
right outside of San Francisco, and just really excited about that. And then hopefully we'll make a trek down to the Queen Mary, which is about a 4-hour drive, but I think it would be worth it.
I would say I think it's so worth it. That'll be fun. What's your favorite place then you've gone so far?
So I really love a place called Broadhead Manor, and that's in Wisconsin.
Oh.
And I'm going back there for the Paranormal Rockdown coming up this summer in July. And something about the energy there. So you like Pukwudgies. There's a lot of elemental energy similar to Pukwudgies at this property. In addition to it was an old school. So just the energy, the Native American backstory to the land. Last time I was there, we did sort of like a drumming circle to honor the land and the spirits of the land. And it was so beautiful. And we had in the drumming circle, there were dragonflies that were kind of circling us in the field right near where there was a Native American burial ground.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I love it. And I can't wait to go back.
Where in Wisconsin is that at?
It's Broadhead, and it's definitely more southern, so it's close to Chicago. My family is like my brothers are in Chicago, so I was able to see my little brother Joey. So
that's cool. I used to live in Wisconsin for a little bit. That's what I was wondering, like where in Wisconsin, because I've never heard of that. Cool. We'll have to check that one out.
Broadhead is really small. Like it's like a really small town that I think that there may be like population of like 100 or something. It's really
wow.
small.
Oh wow.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
a
cool.
real tiny town.
Those are the best, though.
So, Paranormal Lockdown, is it like a kind of a smaller event, locked in sort of deal, or is it a bigger?
Oh, so it's Rockdown. I may have said Lockdown.
Oh, no, we probably heard it wrong.
Yeah, Paranormal Rockdown, and there's going to be performances there this year as well. So the rock band's coupled with paranormal.
Oh,
that sounds amazing.
Yeah, cool. You guys should go. I would love that.
When is
Honestly,
it?
Wisconsin's not too far.
Yeah, so it's in July,
okay,
and it's the second weekend in July. So I can send you guys information.
Do that. That'd be fun.
I think you both would really like it, and it would be a great place for like doing your podcast, meeting new people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, we'll have to check that out. That'll be fun. Yeah, that's not far from us.
Especially now that Michigan Paracon is gone, we're looking for a new home base.
Ay.
I was going to say, is there anything that you want to share that we haven't talked about yet?
Well,
anything that... sorry, Kara's got one on deck.
Well, do you want to talk about Lizzie?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we could talk about her. So the reason why I was a little wary of talking about her, I mean, every time, like what happened at the very beginning. So when I do bring her up, as long as I honor her spirit, I think that it's okay. As long as I'm respectful. I don't think I've ever with her. Like when I first started investigating the case. This is years before filming Curse of Lizzie Borden with Dave Schrader and Chris Fleming. But I would basically, I viewed her kind of as a caricature, like as a cold-blooded killer. And that's before I found that I was related to her. And so now that I know that we're connected, my mom did genealogical research while I was writing several of my books that were related to the case. She's like, Sam, I think we're related. And so she was able to prove that we're related to Lizzie Borden.
That's so wild.
Turned my life upside down. And I'm like, you know what? Now that I know that she is a relative, I'm definitely more empathetic toward her, almost where I'm super protective. And so I want to tell her story and tell her story correctly. And I did promise that to her. And almost if I couldn't exonerate her, I would love that. I would love to be able to exonerate Lizzie. Lizbeth was the way she likes to be referred to. People know her as Lizzie,
really?
but I call her Lisbeth if I'm having like a conversation with my distant cousin. I'm like, Lisbeth. She likes being called Lisbeth.
Oh, good to know, because we don't want to upset her. And it's wild because, I can't imagine then finding out that you're distantly related to her. That would be like you said, it would turn your life upside down. That's always been one of those cases that I've told Zach this. It's one of those cases, I don't know why it is so, well, it's very fascinating to a lot of people, right? So It was always been fascinating to me because of the stupid nursery rhymes, the songs and whatever. But it's just one of those weird cases. And I love true crime. I love listening to it and hearing about it. But I don't know what it is with her case that is something's just really not set right with me. It's just something where I'm like, there's just something ain't right there. I don't know what it is. I don't even know how to articulate what I'm saying, but I've told Zach this. It just feels like something's not right. The story is not being told right. I don't know. Again, I don't know how to articulate it, but it's just one of those cases that it's very strange to me. And I'm sure you can relate.
I can relate to it, I have looked at this case in every possible way. So I when I first started, I was scared. I would have these recurring dreams, and I didn't know what they were and what they were trying to tell me. And a lot of times, spirit communication came through my dreams early on as a clairvoyant. So I had this dream, recurring dream, where I'm in the house, the murder house. I see Andrew Borden on the couch, kind of lounging over. I see what I guess would be Lizzie Borden, standing behind him, holding an axe. And I remember seeing the wallpaper. The wallpaper to me was super significant because I kept focusing on the wallpaper. And then it was black and white, and there was a man behind her, almost like a puppet master, with nefarious looking, with a hat, with a mustache. And there was subtitles that were kind of going on while the action was unfolding, and it said Diablo did it. And I would wake up like that, and it, to me, that was a code of some sort. Yeah. And so when we did the filming of Curse of Lizzie Borden, I really feel in my heart that there was something else going on. And you're right, I have that same feeling. Did she murder her father and stepmother in cold blood? Was she under the influence of a spirit or an attachment? And having had an attachment myself, that is possible. And so I came in with a different perspective, if you will. And there's also the idea that maybe there was some sort of assault that made her snap, and that would make sense, like a associative snap. But I will say, having investigated the case over and over again, there's almost like a splinter personality of Lizzie, and I call her Crazy Lizzie, that I pick up at the murder house. So when I'm interacting with Lizzie, and I'm kind of doing air quotes again, it's Crazy Lizzie. It's a different, the voice when I hear is like, she's crazy. And I hear that in my ear while I'm in the house. And it turns out that actually is what during the show, one of the shows that Amy Allen, she was in the house, and I didn't see this until years later, but she had a very similar impression of that entity that's in the house that's assuming Lizzie's identity, but it crawls in the vents. It's really creepy. But yeah, I do feel that in the dream, either it was like a entity that took her over and she was involved, or there was maybe and John Morris, who was her uncle, has been someone that's been accused of being sort of like the puppet master, if you will. Yeah. And he was creepy. I mean, even pictures and just knowing his backstory, there was something wasn't right with him. Something weird. He was a little off. But he had an alibi that was solid. He was walking to another family member's home the day of the murder, the morning of the murder, and so he had a really firm alibi. But his alibi was creepily he knew everybody he talked to along the way. And it was too calculated.
Weird. Yeah.
Okay. On the John Morris subject, though. So when I was looking into it, everything said that he was going to buy ox, but I never heard anything about him bringing home ox. Or is that just like a Wikipedia fact that was completely wrong?
Yeah, I think. So I mean, from my research, he was visiting a fellow, like a family member.
Okay.
And he was a butcher. And so, like, that's another thing. Like, he was a butcher, like that's
right.
and that's something that people don't know. Like, he actually was an apprentice working, like, he chopped up meat, and that, I don't know, like, that's a red flag right there. He came the night before the murders, and he kind of just popped up in the house like, hey, I'm here. And instead of staying in the usual room, which was on the third floor, right next to where Bridget Sullivan stayed, he stayed on the second floor, and the what is now called the John Morse room. And that's where Abby Borden was murdered. So that even the room that he chose to stay in was odd, for him. Oh, and also, this is another weird fact. The night after Abby was brutally butchered in the second floor room, he stayed in the same room the night of the murder. And
yeah, the whole family staying even in the house was, I feel like, strange enough. But yeah, to stay in the exact room, that takes a character.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would imagine, though, that people going and visiting the house now, kind of like what you were saying, like quotes, crazy Lizzie, like some things like almost like imitating her. I would imagine that Lizzie probably is not there. I mean, maybe, but there's so much energy that has gone through that house, and it is such a tragic site or like home. Like, I can't imagine that everybody that's going there is with the intent of talking to something evil or her, or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like kind of like a thought form, like you were saying, or an egregore or something like that. Like, I can't imagine that Lizzie's just still chilling in that house unless for whatever reason she's trapped. I don't think that people are really talking to her. Do you?
No, I mean, like that's my theory as well. I feel like that I had the conversation with her. So I feel like that she feels the most comfortable at Maplecroft, which is her later in life home. And then we also investigated that location for Curse of Lizzie Borden. But I told her, I'm like, I will never call you back to this house, but can you please, while we're filming this show, make an appearance? So we did the seance at the end of the show, and she was in the room. So when we say Lizzie's in the room, she was. So I think we were able to call her there for that case, but that was to help the children and help Eliza Borden and other family members. And I'm going to get emotional because she was kind of apprehensive to join. In fact,
I have goosebumps.
Yeah, but she participated. She even in the afterlife, she's a loving person. And
I don't think she did it. And if she did it, I don't think it was. No, I just don't think she did it.
I mean, I will say, like, my interaction with her, she doesn't like being called back to the murder house. I told her I would never call her back again, and I haven't. And so and people that do, I'm really, I try my best to, like, spread the word. Like, she does not want to go back there. So stop trying to do EVPs, talk to Lizzie. Another person that I feel is victimized in the afterlife is Andrew Borden, who was the father. Now, was he kind of a questionable person? Yes. I mean, he was a penny pincher, but he was a man in 1892 who was wealthy. He probably had ways about him that would not translate well in modern times.
Of course.
But he was not like a demon. He's now being portrayed in this really dark way. And I don't think that that's Andrew Borden that they're interacting with. It's something else. It's like an egregore thought form, and just like crazy Lizzie.
Yeah.
I even, like, when I refer to this splinter, I don't know if it ever belonged to Lizzie. I mean, my theory is that maybe, like, during the murders or even before that, if there was a sexual assault, that it somehow psychically imprinted itself, like, in the property. But I do think that it's assuming the role. And I do feel that that Lizzie doesn't like being called back there, and I've been good on my word. I haven't called her back.
I know she appreciates that, so she needs to stop screaming at you.
I love it though. You almost get to be like an advocate for these people who've been misrepresented. Like that. it's one thing to do that for the living, but it's such a cool iteration to do it for people who have passed on.
And that's a role that I kind of fell into, but I do feel that way too. Like I feel like that's my role as a family member, is to advocate for the family members who have passed. And I have some questionable, I mean, it's not just Lizzie Borden. We're related to Eileen Wuornos, who...
Oh, that's right. I forgot you were. That's so wild.
And that was found, like we did, like my mother, like she brought me to Lizzie Borden and to the Putnam family, who were major accusers in the Salem witch trials. But then the producers on the show, they dug even deeper, and it was crazy. The people Eileen Wuornos, there was also Marilyn Monroe, is someone that's connected to us as well. And I feel very, very connected to her. And when I go to California, I would love to, because the DNA evidence that was found was fairly recent. So we're able to use DNA to prove that who her father was, she's a Gifford who's connected to our family as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's so interesting what we're able to do with all the DNA.
I just did my DNA and I got shit. I got nothing. And you have everybody. I'm so jealous.
A lot of it too, like, so for example, Marilyn, like we didn't know who her biological father was. So what we had to do is we had to use Ancestry.com, which is what my mom used, coupled with forensic for DNA. And so, so it didn't just pop up on when you do the DNA. It didn't. You had to
I guess I gotta keep digging.
Yeah, to dig in. And then now that we know Marilyn's biological father, we know that she's also Marilyn's related to Lizzie too, which is that's very new. That's very new.
Oh wow, that's cool. Okay, so I'm sure we're all how long have we been going? I'm sure we want to wrap this
almost
up.
An hour.
I guess my final question, unless you have anything else to tell us, is now that we've just started talking about like terrible people that you happen to be related to, some paranormal aspects and some, murderers, not Lizzie, but, would you say that you're more afraid of people or the paranormal? Like, who's the true monsters, would you say?
Well, especially in the case of my family members, if you really look, and the way that you worded it before, that there was something not right about the Lizzie Borden case, I think that the people that control the narrative on her case sort of like controls how we view her in the modern day. And those are the people that are evil to me. The ones that manipulate the truth to make them look better, whether it's like sort of like a patriarchal approach to women. The ones that try to control the narrative really are evil, in my opinion.
Yeah. I there's a lot of paranormal stuff that's very scary out there, but I tell Zach all the time, I'm more afraid of people.
Yeah.
I think they're the bigger monsters in this world than the paranormal.
Okay, I've got one final one for you too, Sam. Is so family or not, right? With being able to be an advocate in such a different way, is there anybody else who you think is misrepresented and you might want to have a chance to clear a name?
Yeah, so I really, the next steps for me is I want to really look at do like a project called Exonerated, where I can kind of like maybe go in and look at cases that are similar to the Borden murders in 1892. And so, the Salem witch trials is another case that's really near and dear to my heart. My distant cousin, Ann Putnam Jr., who was one of the afflicted girls, she was 12 years old during the Salem witch trials.
That's
and she's the only one of the afflicted girls that apologized. And she was shunned from the community. Now, do I think that she did a horrible, horrible thing? Absolutely. But I also think that she was a child that was being manipulated by her father.
Yeah.
And so a lot of what she accused more than 60 people, like 62 people of witchcraft. And a lot of the ones that she accused were executed. So Ann Putnam is someone I would like to revisit.
But she was 12.
Even Eileen Wuornos. I mean, I know that she is guilty, and that but I also feel that there was other stuff going on there, definitely mental illness stuff going on there, and so I would so I'm interested in like looking at my family members, but maybe taking it a step beyond and like relooking at cases. And hopefully like with a new lens. Oh, another case that's really like on my plate of interest is the Pendle witches. And in Lancaster, in England, overseas, and I would love to go there. And the Pendle Witches were very similar to the Salem witch trials, but it was 60 years. It was in the 1629 or 1619. When the Pendle Witches were accused and executed.
Oh, wow.
This is how you can tell he's a real researcher, because you have all these years right in your brain. And then there's us who put our episodes together and we're like, wait, what did I say 10 minutes ago?
Well, I mean, the years of the Pendle Witches, so it was 80 years before the Salem witch trials, was 1692. So actually it was 1612. So I have to make sure I get the year correct. But yeah, and that's how I remember it, is what was the difference in years? What's interesting about Salem witch trials was 1692. The Borden murders was in 1892. And I probably wouldn't remember that year, except for it was exactly 200 years apart.
Yeah, that makes it easy. Yeah.
You're giving us all your tricks now.
Wow. Well, this was so much fun.
Absolutely. I mean, starts with spectral screaming. We've had a couple interruptions along the way.
I love it.
I know I've learned some more. So no, this has been incredible. Sam, for anybody who needs to find more information about you, if they want to pick up some of the books or check out anything online or the documentaries, what's the best way for people to find you?
So I highly recommend going to my website, sambaltrusis.com. It's BALTRUSIS.com. Currently working on books, and you can find them all on Amazon and your local bookstores. Highly recommend going to a bookstore if you can to get my books.
Yeah.
Another thing that I'm working on too, so I'm working on the Haunted Castles of New England. I'm doing an anthology called Haunted Travels Anthology that's coming out this summer, and I'm bringing that to an event near you, and hopefully you guys will be able to support the paranormal writing community, or ghost writers as they call them.
Yeah, no, awesome.
Ghost writers, fantastic. Yeah, and we'll make sure that the website is linked down in the show notes, so anybody listening, just one click away.
You were also just in Haunted Mag, right?
Yeah, so I regularly contribute to Haunted Magazine, and I love that publication because it's so diverse. It's actually it's produced in the UK, but it's cool because a lot of the stories are American stories. So we have a lot of great writers, like Richard Estep is a regular, Amanda Woomer's a regular, so Alex Matsuo. So a lot of people that I consider people that I respect in the paranormal research community contribute to Haunted Magazine.
Awesome. So there's a lot of ways that people can get their hands on your stuff. We love that. Okay, so one other thing that we ask is we like to leave an emoji. We have our listeners leave an emoji when we post the episode stuff. So what emoji would you like to be left for your episode?
Well, I mean, my first response thought was an axe, but
okay, I was gonna say maybe a book because you have a lot of books, but
yeah, I mean, but I don't want to be known for the axe. So yeah, I mean maybe so ghostwriters, or maybe how about a raven? I like a raven.
Oh, okay. There has to be a little raven or a crow emoji.
I'm
perfect.
Sure
I like that. I love ravens. Oh, I want a crow so bad. See, I would take a puckwudgie. I would do it.
She absolutely would. She tries to take everything as a pet.
Okay, Sam.
All right, Sam, we'll let you get on with your night. We'll let all the little Oddity Shop listeners get on with the night. So, Kara.
Well, we appreciate you so much, Sam, for coming. Thank you again. We are so incredibly grateful. Listeners, we're so incredibly grateful for you. Please leave a raven, a book, an axe, whatever, or preferably a raven. Leave those emojis so that we know that you listened and you like this episode. We appreciate you so much. But the most important thing that you can do for us is to creep a reel, you little oddballs.
Goodbye.
Bye.
You got to throw us a goodbye, Sam.
Goodbye.
Perfect. We probably could have warned you.
That was
thank
fun.
you, though. Thank you so much. That was a lot of fun.
That was fun.